This project follows on from project 5. In this project we're going to draw 4 regular polygons controlling size and position, and also explore 3 different ways to start the code. You need to understand how the external angle is used, this block sequence, and you can use this table as a reference. Okay, so I've set up 2 code block sequences to draw my first shape and also the reset. If you completed project 5, this block sequence will be familiar to you. I've added a go-to block and also a say block. The reason for the go-to block is that I would like my sprite to go to a particular place to draw the first shape. This backdrop is a good one to show us our 4-quadrant coordinate plane. The aim is to draw a shape in each one of these quadrants. This go-to block is going to position my sprite to draw my square at the right starting point. A quick way to get the x and y values in the go-to block is to move your sprite to where you would like it to go, and the go-to block has those values. If I move the sprite again, see that the go-to x and y values have changed. So the first thing to do is to go to a particular point. Then we're familiar with this, setting the pen color and size, putting the pen down. In this case I'm drawing a square. I've tested this size and I know that 100 steps is going to draw a square that stays inside this quadrant. Waiting 1 second to slow down the animation, and then I've added a say block at the end. Let's take a look at this. I'm happy with the size and the position of the square. Now it's time to draw the other shapes. As we've done before, I'm going to use the duplicate stamp button to make a copy of this sequence. I need 4 because I'm going to have 4 shapes. The square is all done. Now it's time to do another shape. So I'm going to change my color. I'm going to make a triangle this time. I'll make the move slightly larger, and my turn needs to be 120 degrees. Change it to triangle. Back to my coordinates grid. I want my triangle to start at this point, so I can bring out that go-to. But before it moves, I need to put the pen up. I can connect this here now. Let's test that. Okay, so that's good so far. We just now have to repeat that process for 2 other shapes. As you can see, we have a very long block sequence. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to have a look at some different ways to start the code. We've already used when the green flag is clicked, and there are 2 other ways that we can do this. We can use when this sprite is clicked, and we can also set up a broadcast and a receive by making some buttons. If you completed project 4, you'll be familiar with broadcasting. Let's take a look at using when this sprite is clicked. To do this, I'm going to duplicate the sprite so that I have 4, 1 for each shape. Starting in my triangle sprite, I only need the blocks of code to draw the triangle. When this sprite is clicked, pen up, then go to and draw the triangle. We're going to repeat that process for all 4 sprites. Okay, so we don't need to click the green flag to get this started this time. Just click on the sprite. The third way is to use broadcasting, to send a broadcast and receive a broadcast. For this we need some buttons. I'm going to duplicate this button, so I have 4. Change the broadcast for each of the shapes. In Project 4 you saw how to put text onto a button. I'm going to do that now. So each of my buttons is sending a broadcast. We now have to set up our drawing sprite. We only need one, but we need the code back from each of these. So I'm just going to drag and drop each of the blocks of code back onto my first sprite. The hexagon, pentagon, and the square. We no longer need these sprites, so I'm going to use the scissors to delete. So the script on here now, for all of my 4 shapes, we'll start with the triangle. We don't need when this sprite is clicked. We're going to replace that with when I receive. So when I receive triangle, pen up, go to, draw the shape. Pentagon, when I receive, pentagon, hexagon, when I receive hexagon, and finally square. I'm going to reduce the size of all of these buttons by using a set size to. They only need to be 50%. Square, triangle, pentagon, and hexagon. I've drawn all the shapes now and I can see that my buttons don't fit very well, but I can put these into the center and then they're not going to be in the road. Okay, try that for yourself.